there's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Today, Charlie, Threat, Menace, or Mr. Coffee, Lilith Hellfire, Reluctant Adult, Phil, Reaching for Anything to Say, and who is that mysterious stranger coming from the West, disguised as a mild-mannered reporter? Capes and Lunatics starts right now.
Yay, it's me.
Yay, Tyler's back. So, yeah.
Nice.
I am Phil. You know, the one you're sick of probably already. You said Tyler's back.
Charlie Esser.
Charlie Esser.
There we go.
Ryan's
Come on, get on the ball, Phil. Get on the ball. You need some coffee.
And part-time real estate agent.
Lilith.
Rent some property.
Ready, so it's going to be a good one. We're back to Saturday morning.
And good news is I lost my job, so we can do Saturday mornings again whenever we want. Yay!
Mornings!
If they don't give you good cartoons anymore, when you Capes and Lunatics.
I know. Saturday morning cartoons are just...
Do they good cartoons Saturday mornings anymore?
Cartoon Network, I think, is all there is.
Well, yeah,
Cartoon Network.
well, that's the thing. Yeah, you don't do Saturday morning cartoons anymore because, as my kids are very mad about now that we don't have Cartoon Network, they can't just watch cartoons all the time whenever they want. And they're like, this is nonsense, Dad. Why is there not a broadcast channel that's just cartoons? And there may be, but we just don't see it.
I think PBS does Saturday morning cartoon stuff.
That's a good
yeah.
That's a good cartoon. Educational
cartoons.
You know,
hey guys, am I still there? Because it's saying there was an error loading my app. Oh, there. Okay. Oh, that was it. It was the dang. Because of my Mac association with Phil, I can't do my toolbar.
See, my thing is, I miss good old Fox Kids,
X-Men.
You know, like I miss all those. Yeah, Kids WB, Fox Kids, ABC, One Saturday Morning, NBC, CBS even had cartoons. Now you know what we got?
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, TNBC we had. Now you know what we have? Nothing but we have to go to Cartoon Network, Disney Junior, Nickelodeon, Disney XD. Like, we have to have all these special channels to enjoy cartoons now.
I'm so old. I had Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Oh,
I do have. Yeah, there is there's a channel called that I'm getting called. I think it's called Cubo, QUBO.
Yeah,
that seems to be all kids programming from PBS though. Yeah, it's all educational stuff. And then there's some kind of electric because I'm getting the CUNY New York channel, which I guess is the public radio, the public channel that's by the college university system of New York. Free college if you live in New York.
Sweet.
Yeah, well that's why New York's an economic powerhouse because we actually educate people for free.
All right, where do we want to start? Who watching
Hey,
TV?
Lilith, did you see? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I wanted Lilith. Lilith, did you see the what is it? Minute and a half clip from Black Panther?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You warned me.
No, I'm just asking if you saw that. There's, I always forget how to pronounce the elite guard of the Black Panther, and the woman whipping off her wig, and the other woman hitting someone with her shoe. Did you see that?
I don't think I was watching it that close.
There are books with Ben Grineman that I haven't read. I mean, I found that hilarious, and it just shows you that even though this is a very important Marvel film, they're going to do the comedy. Because it was a very slapsticky fight scene.
Then it's not really slapsticky. You know, trailers are deceiving sometimes. So
yeah. No, but it was cool. I liked it. But as I was telling Phil last night, it seemed like every African American comedy bit I've ever seen on at the Apollo just come to life as a superhero action film.
The thoughts and views expressed by Charlie Esser are not necessarily the views of the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Yeah, I'll be controversial. I don't mind being controversial. Someone's got to be here.
But it's like what?
Straight-laced man.
Like Lilith was saying, it's out of context. You don't know the context. Maybe they're ambushed. They have no weapons, so they pull off their heels, which he has put like vibranium tips on, so they're like smacking guys.
Oh no, I'm sure it's all that. No. Well, clearly they were ready to fight because this is the Dora merger. I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Well, look at the Black Panther movie, much like we learned how to pronounce Themyscira in Wonder Woman.
Yes, I can't wait for this movie. Even though evil men are trying to destroy it. Evil white men are trying to destroy it even now.
I don't believe that. That sounds like fake news to me. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, they're trying to. It doesn't mean they're going to succeed. In fact,
you don't buy it, Lilith?
It sounds like some Disney press right there. Some alert.
Really, you think that Disney is behind its own? They're doing a false flag attack.
It's like the Ghostbusters, the female version, where they're garnering all the sympathy. I don't know. It doesn't seem real to me. It might be like
I don't know.
The truth, and everything else is blown out of proportion because it is the internet.
That's right.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure like I said, these guys didn't have that much effect on Rogue One, or because it's the same guys who we're gonna say how awful Rogue One is because we don't like women on movies, and
It's not the Catholic League, which is one guy in his mother's basement writing letters to the FCC. That's what it smacks up to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, truth be told, I think
very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
They actually, I think it was a film called Touched, and they had a parody of the Catholic League in there, and it was just Tom Arnold in a little gray Gestapo uniform with Catholic symbology on it, and. Honestly, if you wanna cast somebody to be a complete nut, I mean, you can't do better than Tom Arnold. That man embodies
pretty much any guy named Tom in Hollywood, I think.
Yeah.
Party included. Fight me. I don't care.
Tom Cruise and his perfect teeth. Look, let's go back and listen to Super Connectivity for that.
Oh yeah. Well, he is from Kentucky, so.
Well, he used to have very bad teeth. This is what we discussed in Super Connectivity. Yeah, and he used to be very ashamed of that. That's why if you see movies before Days of Thunder, because he got his teeth fixed after Days of Thunder, he doesn't do big smiles. Then after Days of Thunder, he starts doing these big toothy grins. Yeah. And that's why everyone thinks he's crazy, because he's always doing these big smiles because he wants to show off his beautiful new teeth that he just got put in.
Crazy, Charlie. That's not why.
I'm sorry?
That's not why we think Tom Cruise is crazy.
You know what? There are other reasons, certainly, but I think that constantly is reiterating to us. But he's just so proud of his teeth. That's all I'm saying. The man is proud he finally got his teeth fixed. Because he was very embarrassed about as a young man.
I'm excited for Black Panther, if not only just for the Deadpool trailer.
Well, I'm excited because it's Black Panther and he's cool. He's super smart, like Reed Richards, and I just need to know: are they going to do like they do with every super genius and just make him also an idiot because he's too smart for his own good? But we're gonna have to find out.
I think he might have some naivete left, and that's his journey getting rid of that. So
yeah, well, well, as Tyler was discussing with Simba, or as I was saying to Simba, there are so many young royals who do not understand the noble oblige of their position.
And I find Simba annoying.
Yes,
because we're old now. That's all.
No, it's because I realize Simba's just an idiot, but whatever. But I love Mufasa, and I love Kion. And Kion's a little cub, but he's smarter than his dad.
Oh, yes.
I'm just going to say it right now. Scar was right. There we go. Fight me, nerds. Scar can't control the weather. That there is, a drought is not Scar's fault. You cannot control the weather. And quite frankly, what about Mufasa, exiling the poor hyenas? It's like, what, the hyenas are not a part of the circle of life?
No, because they don't respect the circle of life. You haven't watched enough Lion Guard. If you watch enough Lion Guard, you'll understand how the circle of life works.
I've seen Lion Guard.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I stopped
My
it.
kids are 100% SpongeBob at the moment.
Because I was only here for Timon and Pumbaa. I think
Oh,
so Disney
you're
Junior, Lilith.
So you're a Lion King 1.5 fan. That's what it is.
Yep.
Oh,
Timon and Pumbaa, and they even got their own show without Simba. So there you go.
There you go, man.
all right.
The meerkat. That's what it's all about.
Speaking of Timon and Pumbaa, this I thought was delightful because I did not see it coming. So one of the new, so here's this thing. I don't have cable anymore, so I'm like on broadcast TV. It turns out there's like lots more channels on broadcast TV now. Who knew? And I was watching like the Match Game 74 with the classic Charles Nelson Reilly. And they actually had, I don't know how it got past the censors even back then, but it got there. Probably just because it was Charles Nelson Reilly. And the question was, Superman was very excited when Batman and Robin invited him to, and his answer was their wedding. And it's like, wow. 1974, they put it out there. I was so proud. It's Buzzer. BZZR is the channel, and it's like it's all old game shows, and I'm excited by this.
Bruce is not good enough for Dick. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what? To quote Olive Oil in her song "He's Large," he's got lots of money. That's true. You know. The fact of the matter is that like Bluto, Bruce Wayne, yeah, he may not be the best guy, but let's face it, he's got money and respect.
But how many orphans could he feed if he wasn't selfish?
Yeah, well, you know what? Not for nothing, like Olive Oil, maybe she's not that concerned about what the orphans are doing. Maybe she's more concerned about her and doing her first, you know? And maybe poor little circus boy Dick is like, you know what? I got to do me. I know there's lots of orphans out there, but I got to do me. And if being a ward is what it takes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So, what was good on TV this week, guys? I've been reading books and working, so fill me in.
I thought you said you turned around on Black Lightning like you like it now.
That's like the only show that I watched live-ish this week. I just got around to How to Get Away with Murder this morning. So, yeah. Black Lightning was good for me. It's getting better than I thought it would be on the CW.
Why? What turned you around? What turned you around?
Honestly,
on it?
Yeah, we haven't heard what Tyler said about Black Lightning. What do you think?
Tyler?
Okay, so I was talking about this last night with a friend. I really like it because I like the idea of the older superhero who has a family, who has this different dynamic of why he's doing what he's doing. And with the Black Lightning show, there really feels like there's a connection to the community. You know, we're always like, Oliver's like, I got to save my city. Why? I mean, now you're mayor, but you never seem like you're part of the city. Flash saves the city because he lives there. You know, Supergirl saves the city because she can fight aliens. But Black Lightning saves the city because he's part of the city.
He succeeds where Oliver fails because he's a principal. He's the leader of his community. He cares about his community. People respect him.
Yes.
Exactly.
Outside of his vigilante identity. So it's so refreshing to see. I totally agree, Ty.
I don't know. He didn't put that suit back on till his daughters were in danger.
Well, his wife, he also was tiny for his wife and was trying to respect that as well, too.
Yeah.
You know what? And I love. You know what I loved, and this was in that. See, some of us liked it from the first episode.
I liked it from the first episode because I
Yeah.
I just liked the fact that it was like basically like you can watch the show before it even gets into the fact that it's a comic book show, and they're watching for the drama. And I like Jefferson's character, like as just being the principal and as a leader, as a father, as a man trying to do what's right and a role model to his community. Before we even get to the part of being Black Lightning and where that takes us.
Mm-hmm. And I love that it's Black Lightning, Threat or Menace. That there is this negative feeling towards in among the law enforcement community about having vigilantes. It's like, that's cool. That is cool that there is a real conflict here about whether or not vigilantism is the way to go. And for what it's worth, really emphasizing the fact that his community does not feel protected by the police really justifies the existence of a vigilante. You know, unlike Oliver Queen as, rich kid, who is protected by the police. Although I guess that's also the argument with Green Arrow, is that he knows that there's no one that's going to bring rich white men to justice except for the Green Arrow. So, that's cool too.
That was so season 1, Charlie. We've moved past that.
Honestly, I don't. As far as I'm concerned, there was only one season of Green Arrow. It wasn't very good, and that's the only thing I can really reference because, as far as I know, that they just visit Green Arrow every so often on Legends of Tomorrow because he's a character in that universe.
Oh, Charlie, what are we gonna do with you? Yeah, it's starting to not feel like a CW show. It feels like it should be on Netflix, and I like that. That's what I like about it the most.
Well, I always go back to thinking the original pitch and idea, like how much did they have mapped out, was it was pitched to Fox, like it was supposed to be on Fox.
But Greg was still producing it, so it was always like, yeah, that's not gonna make it. It's gonna be on the CW.
Right. Exactly. We saw what happened with CBS, but it was always designed, I think, to be a more mature, adult-oriented show. And then when Fox passed and the CW picked up, like we all thought, oh, it's going to be very CW, but it's probably the most mature non-CW show on the CW.
Exactly.
Also, because I haven't recognized any of the sets yet.
Well, that's because they shoot in Atlanta, so it's a completely different city. They're millions of miles away from Vancouver, so that gives it a different feel too.
Another step to why I feel like, because I noticed, like, just watching the credits, like there's different production companies and stuff involved than that are on the other, CW hero shows. I mean, even the music's done by somebody different,
Yeah, and although I do miss Blake Neely, it does give that show a completely different feel because he does Kevin Probably Saves the World. I still hear like reminiscent things of like Arrow and Supergirl and stuff in it.
So I think it just that all those little details help add to just making this show stepped outside of the box that could have easily fallen into.
But I do think it might secretly be on Supergirl's Earth. I think this last episode was kind of a hint that if they wanted to, because Supergirl's Earth does need to be filled out a little bit.
They mentioned the Outsiders.
Yeah, but didn't they?
We got 3 outsider characters in the show itself. So,
but didn't they because I watched the episode twice, but I had the kids with me, and I heard parts of it. But when Thunder is in the library reading, the other girl references Supergirl, like she's talking about comics and says something about Supergirl.
But it could be like which one? It could be like that theory in the X-Men, where especially Old Man Logan or whatever, Logan, where the comics are actually kind of based on things that have happened.
Right.
And just like the Flash has his own toys in his universe.
Yep.
Yeah.
And drinks.
Well, it's
but I just thought that was an interesting drop. Just an interesting drop of just that term, because I mean I've thought about like if I wanted it to cross over, and I'm kind of like in one breath like yes, because I think I would love to see Jefferson put Oliver in his place.
I don't want him anywhere near Velocity or West Allen. I think Supergirl would be the perfect in this particular multiverse. They would have a lot to discuss.
I could see that, and I like that, but I would love to see like Oliver come to Supergirl's Earth, and then that's where he meets Jefferson, because everybody always puffs Oliver up to be the leader. Like when they have the crossovers, like Oliver this, Oliver that, and I could just see Jefferson like, no, sit down, little boy, let a man take over, like drop it.
But if Mark Guggenheim leaves, I don't want him anywhere near the show. Sorry.
So, but yeah, what else was I going to say? There was something else, but yeah, I mean, it was just interesting. Oh, so I was doing some reading because I heard, do you guys think it would be beneficial if they explored the supposed origin of Black Lightning's ex-wife?
Wait, there's an origin for her aside from she's a lady who was born and married a guy?
The fact that her last name was Stewart, and the fact that the original creators wanted to make her John Stewart's sister, but then they left the book before they got a chance to get there.
Oh.
So
could we get Green Lanterns here?
They have teased Green Lantern enough in Arrow that if they don't, it's just stupid if we don't get a lantern somewhere.
They're afraid to pull that trigger in the movies, but I think they still want to hold that idea for the movies. And it's like,
who cares about like? Obviously, we've pointed out that you can have multiple versions and they work.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's not like the Green Lanterns don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, exist in these universes. There are they call out the lanterns in freaking Justice League. Yeah, they that Earth, and really, so it's like Earth has a lantern. They're just not from Earth. There is a lantern for this sector of space, but for whatever reason, there's a lantern fighting aliens constantly outside of Earth to make sure, why are all these aliens coming to Earth?
But the other thing is, we have enough lanterns.
What is on this podunk planet that makes these aliens want to come here?
Unicron. But the thing is, we have enough lanterns, like characters, that we could do one lantern on the TV universe and a completely different lantern in the movies. I'm not saying who I want where, but I'm just saying, like, we can do different characters in different places and still have Green Lantern and it still be fresh.
Since they're not doing so well, just pull Jessica and Simon into the TV universe. Who cares? They
exactly.
Don't I said it. You don't even read that book anymore. Don't you dare.
Don't like you read that book.
I tried. I supported it for a moment. For quite a moment. You dropped
out. I lasted longer on that thing than you did.
That's because you're so we love you, Phil.
You know what? They should throw an Alan Scott somewhere.
They already have Jay Garrick on the TV show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, for what it's worth, they establish an idea that with a damaged ring, that you could put Alan Scott in the movie universe, finding that damaged ring that was lost at the start of Justice League, and you could, you could explore a lot of interesting ideas, without really going into the core yet, And you could do that same thing in the TV show. That if you don't want to do the core in the TV show, do an Alan Scott Green Lantern. I think that's a really good option for them, That's me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think Alan Scott's a really cool, interesting idea for a Green Lantern to explore, a Green Lantern without the core. Because, why not? If you're nervous about Green Lantern, do Alan Scott. You have this perfect Green Lantern that isn't in the context of the overall Green Lantern mythos that you can put somewhere and use. Why not?
The heck?
Phil's testing out new sound effects. Don't mind him.
Yeah, I know. I start talking, everyone's like, okay, let's go somewhere for an hour. Well,
no.
I I mean, as much as I am like a Golden Age fan, Alan Scott isn't my favorite, but you're absolutely right. He's more he's more easily taken in than everything else surrounding the Green Lantern.
Well, exactly.
And I've been waiting for JSA, so like Legends needs to do this for me. Legends,
not for nothing. They have the JSA there. Although they've already kind of shot themselves in the foot by suggesting they disbanded after World War II. And it's like, these are who were in it. We didn't get our lantern here.
On. See, that's all you have to say.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they just got a whole different JSA because the JSA were compromised, and they couldn't tell them because McCarthyism.
And what about everybody?
Too many Furners on that team. That was the problem.
Is Tyler? I don't know if Tyler's there. Lilith, are you still watching Lucifer?
I'm still here.
Okay. I'm not like as invested. Like I told you, I don't really live watch every week. I kind of just like get 3 episodes behind and binge, and it's much better that way. Lucifer with a fast forward button is awesome because I really, really, really don't like the female lead on that show. Like it just gets worse.
It's season 3. I swear she still doesn't have like any inkling that he's the devil.
And I just feel like if she wasn't blonde, like I just feel like they really played that dumb blonde stereotype with this lady. And I'm just trying to support Detective Douche. That's all I'm trying to do.
No, I'm sorry. The female lead, is that the detective on the show, or is that someone else?
Mm-hmm.
So wait, the detective doesn't know. She just thinks you're crazy.
Basically,
saying that you're the devil all the time.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I could headcanon that in the idea that because he is the actual literal devil, that the human mind cannot encapsulate that idea.
But she's something special, though.
Yeah.
She's something like unique. I can't remember. I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
I just got behind and decided to binge it.
The female lead on that show, like, I'm sorry, and she's not, and it's a shame.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't, because I don't watch the show, I can't really speak to it, but I can say in my own mind, because I know that in like Werewolf the Apocalypse, they had this whole thing where because werewolves had so traumatized humanity that when werewolves appeared, humans couldn't encapsulate the idea of werewolves. So whatever they saw, oh no, that was just some crazy guy running around, you know? And so I can see the idea that, yeah, exactly. It's like, it's not that she's dumb, it's that she just cannot accept the idea of Satan being there. And so she intentionally blocks that idea out, you know, not because she's dumb, but because it's too traumatic to experience.
It's like the Iris thing on the Flash, though. It's like, okay, you cannot drag this past the first season, and they have done it. So it's just like, nope. Yeah. But not.
It's almost like it's like a rom-com.
The literal devil is a much heavier concept than, oh, here's a guy who runs fast. It's like Lois Lane. You can say, you know, oh well, maybe. You know, I mean, the idea of having a character who is so outside of humanity lends itself to denial because it's such a weird idea to think that something so extraordinary exists within the ordinary.
I don't know. I've never been happy about the fact that it's a procedural, and at least I thought they were going to turn those tropes on their head, and they just haven't. So it's just like very frustrating. Like they have some great myth arcs and stuff, but the main meat and potatoes of this show is wearing thin on my nerves.
Fair enough.
Because the comic book is amazing. And I gave the pass that the guy doesn't look how I want. His actor's amazing, but it's just
how's he supposed to look?
Okay. Not like that. He's supposed to be blonde.
Oh.
Supposed to look like, is it Sting or David Bowie? I forget. One of the two.
Well,
Constantine. Wait, are we talking Lucifer or Constantine?
Lucifer. It's Bowie. It's Bowie. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to look like David Bowie.
Well, Barry Allen
because it was Bowie for Lucifer and Constantine for Sting.
Was Sting. Okay, that's. Yes. I just know
No,
that
because
Bowie
I was
was
disappointed because David Bowie was sick, kind of, sort of, and then he died right around the time that Lucifer was getting his footing as a show. So yeah. Anyway, there we go. What about
All
you?
right.
You still liking it?
It's all right. I mean,
You live
like I
watching
said, I wish they would do more with it. I mean, it just is like a procedural / rom-com, and I don't know, get into the darker stuff, you know. And
They tried that, and it was interesting at the tail end of season 1, and then beginning of season 2 with his mom was awesome, and then it just kind of.
but then
Yep.
the woman she possessed is still there. It's kind of weird.
Hey, Lucifer has a mom?
Of course, God has a wife. Come on,
Everyone
Charlie,
has a mom, Charlie.
Yep.
Actually, I'm not sure that angels have moms. They were created by God at the start
Yeah,
of the
but
universe
this
as
is
perfect
that's
beings.
just
but
one
this is,
interpretation.
Yeah.
this is comic book. Lord.
But how did God create angels?
Well, God had a sister in Supernatural. We didn't question it.
Well,
We had
see,
a
gods
Mara.
can have sisters, and gods can have parents, but like I say, it's fine, But does that mean that so is God the father of Lucifer in this series?
Plot twist, no. That's where we're going. We're going Maury Povich style with Lucifer season 4.
God is not the father. Okay. I'll go on with it.
Really, Lilith, the twist is Lucifer's actually a mental patient who's just having a hallucination, and he wakes up and we realize this is all just in his head. That's season 4. As we find out
Well, Bob Newhart, man. Because the only person Bob Newhart's his roommate.
You know what it is? They're going to just rip off the original ending to Life on Mars. And he was just, he's an astronaut in a virtual reality sleep program to keep his mind and body active on, he's in hyperspace,
Man, and when they did the remake and they rushed the ending, I was so mad. I was like, that's not how it. Life on Mars, the remake on NBC, was pretty good until that part.
Well, of course. Because they're adapting, it's hard when it's hard when you adapt something that's already established, and everyone knows the secret twist ending. It's like, well, what do we do? There's a secret twist ending, but everyone already knows it. So how do you deal with that? And it's like,
what was a better remake? It was Journeyman. That was out around the same time too.
I'm sorry, what?
Journeyman with the one guy from I can't think of him. I think it was is his name Kevin McKidd? I want to say it's Kevin McKidd. I should really know my redheaded actors better than this, but anyway, yeah. Random nonsense.
Yeah.
How's Supergirl going?
I like it to a point. Here's what I like. Okay, I like the fact that they're not trying to force any romantic relationships on Kara. They're just letting her character develop. Here's what I don't like: the Legion of Heroes. Because I still don't like.
Doesn't Legion imply more than 3 people too?
Yeah, but the rest are in hypersleep. Is how I take it, because the way they reference everything. But I just want to say this: 1, I like the actor playing Brainiac 5, but I don't like the look. 2, Saturn Girl's annoying. I just want to slap her every time she's on the screen, and Jania can't stand her. And Mon-El is still a poorly developed character, and I hate his name. Because they never... Huh?
Do you like his new suit?
He hasn't got it yet.
Oh, really? All that he still doesn't have it?
All he's got right now is his Bryan Singer X-Men suit right now.
I saw pictures for the new suit. I was just assuming that they'd show that pretty soon.
Yeah, it's probably going to be on the episodes when they come back from this really odd break they're about to take.
Yeah.
So now, is the Legion of Superheroes from the future?
Yeah.
So why are they in hypersleep?
Because they had to stop something, so they came back in time, but for some reason they didn't know exactly when the event was supposed to occur, so they're all were on Earth sleeping until it was time to wake up to stop the occurrence.
They came back thousands of years early, so they had to go hypersleep to get back to the future.
Because there's an event that happens, and basically a lot of the history of Earth is lost before that event, and the things that they have learned have come from Mon-El. Which that's a great source for knowledge. The guy who was only on Earth for a little bit, who doesn't know.
Before they put lead in the atmosphere, because that won't have any downstream side effects.
The Rain story I find interesting, but I feel
doesn't seem like they're dragging that out though too.
Yes, and the fact that I was actually excited they were introducing, I can't remember her first name, but Roz. The reason why Fort Roz was named Fort Roz, and it was the priestess who was the leader of the cult covenant that worshipped the world killers, and it was played by Sarah Douglas. I was pumped, and then she got killed off fast
from Superman 2,
and I was pissed. So I like it. It's not bad. It's definitely not fallen into the third season slump of a lot of the other CW shows have, where you're just kind of like, ugh. But
I feel like Supergirl's Doomsday from Smallville, because I felt like Doomsday was unnecessary and too soon.
Yes, we have talked a lot about how the Reign storyline seems a lot like the Davis Bloom storyline in Smallville. And the one thing is, I understand that Supergirl is a female show, like a female-driven, like
all her
show.
villains don't have to be female. Yeah.
Right, and it doesn't always have to be like the female version of an already established Superman character. Like, oh, we're not going to do Lex Luthor. We'll do Lena. Like, we're not going to do Lionel. We'll do Lillian. We're not going to do Brainiac. We'll do Indigo. Like, we're going to do Reign, which I wish the Reign character is a little bit more the way it was in the comics, because I feel like this is just basically Reign in name and not actually anything else, because she looks like she should be hanging out on General Zod's Black Zero from Man of Steel.
Welcome to the Arrowverse in name only villains.
I'm still mad that they brought Komodo. I am still mad they brought Komodo into Arrow for one episode and completely downplayed him. Because
they're doing Dragon the way they're doing Richard Dragon this season.
Oh yeah, just hanging out in the back with hanging out in the background with Caden James, that famous comic book character.
evil male Felicity. I know.
You could just say male Felicity. The evil is implied.
And Vigilante. I mean, what was up with that? I guess we don't have to worry about that anymore, though.
He has a healing factor.
Yeah, but he got
Black Siren screamed in his ear. He's dead.
I know what happened. I watched the YouTube clips because it was Katie. But come on, he has a healing factor.
Can we just say that more people should have died on that island?
I don't know what she exactly did. Did she scramble his brains in the mush? Did she crack his skull? I mean,
he'll heal, but he'll come back. He'll heal, but he'll come back developmentally disabled. Is what'll happen.
He'll have amnesia.
Oh, you know what? No, they're Wolverining him. Gets shot in the head with the adamantium bullet. Scrambles his brains. Doesn't remember anything. His brain heals, but he has memories, but he doesn't. He knows things, but he doesn't know who he was or where he's from.
And we're gonna take it to the Flash to get the neural inhibitor. It all comes together.
Nice.
It's one big circle of comic book nerdery. Yeah,
and then, Team Arrow goes
Central City. Let's not forget, she can take her butt right back out there too.
Team Arrow goes to Central City. Oh, Barry's in prison. Oh, Oliver's about to go to prison. Hey, bros.
Prison.
Yeah. Because somehow Iron Heights is in the vicinity of both Central City and Star City, but they're hundreds of miles apart.
They have two.
Well, I mean, it could be a federal prison, and it might not even be in the same state. That was kind of my point. It's like they could all be shipped down to that state that
we've stated where Iron Heights
Black Lightning is at.
For Arrowverse, Flash.
But I'm just saying,
on that location.
Yeah, I'm saying if you watch it, like how often they visit Iron Heights, like on the Flash when Barry would see his dad, or Joe stops by Iron Heights,
or even in Arrow when Laurel would go down there for clients or whatever in like the first season.
Exactly. And then there's the one clue in the pilot of the Flash where you see Barry running and the sign says Star City blank 100 miles or whatever. I don't remember what it was.
I think it's 600 miles.
Well, but to be fair, it could be that they are in a California-style state, which is very long, like New Jersey. There are long states so you can have a major metropolis at the south and a major metropolis at the north, like LA and San Francisco.
I just think Iron Heights is a franchise. They have
Maybe that's the secret to the Arrowverse is that we do have private prisons. Maybe this is a franchise of a private prison.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That makes sense.
The two major franchises of the Arrowverse: Big Belly Burger and Iron Heights. Yeah.
Is there anything that could be more American than that?
Prisons
and
Look at this.
Yeah.
So how was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? We didn't predict the flashes, or are they on break?
Yeah, I have no idea because my antenna doesn't pick up 7 or 11. So I actually can't watch any superhero shows.
Oh, you poor thing.
Well, last one was the last one. Last one was the last one until March. So.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it's going to be on Hulu. So if it comes onto Hulu in a week or two, I can watch it.
Oh, shit. Do you want me to spoil it, Charlie?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
Well, Quake didn't want to go back to the present because she's like, that way we know I won't destroy the Earth because if I'm here. But then Coulson knocked her out and said, she's going because I need her to lead because big twist, Coulson is dying again.
You're not gonna get rid of Coulson. Let's be real.
His chest was all like
here we go.
Iron.
Ready?
The Kree healing factor is wearing off.
Here we go. Ready? Bigger twist. Coulson is dead. This was all just an imagination of the people who miss Coulson and their way of dealing with him. They're all on a holodeck. Boom.
They should have did what they did. They should have did what they did from the beginning. He's an LMD.
Yeah. Well, they still have time. But
it's comic book shows. They can retcon anything.
See, I always said he was an LMD from the first Iron Man movie. Because Coulson at the start of Iron Man and Coulson at the end of Iron Man are two completely different characters. Because he's bumbling and a bureaucrat in the first time we see him, when he's trying to talk to Pepper Potts. And then when he comes out and he's all sunglasses and we got a new name. It's S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's because he was trying to keep it hidden. He was playing the role of downgrade agent. It was also supposed to throw us all off as the audience.
Well, so, and he did a great job of that because me, super nerd, didn't even pick up on where the strategic homeland. So it flew right over my head the first time I saw Iron Man. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, that's one of those prices, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that was kind of the point. That's why they made it all super long and they changed it up just enough so we're like, wait, the strategic? Wait, huh?
Yes. But anyway, no, if you're gonna really go that far, what it is this is his last moments of life dream. So his last moments of life dream. So that basically the final episode is he's back being stabbed by Loki. Oh, they're doing time travel. That's what happens.
Did anyone ever see
that? It goes right back to that point, and he goes back to that point, and he says that was the time anomaly that had to be corrected. I actually am supposed to be dead.
Did
and
anyone
then he
ever
goes back and prevents that, and then all of S.H.I.E.L.D. never happened.
Did you ever see the movie Stay with Ryan Gosling and Ewan McGregor from the early 2000s?
I don't think so.
Basically, the whole premise of the movie is you find out that Ryan Gosling's character is basically in a car wreck at the beginning, and the whole movie is him laying there dying and his brain having vaguely visions and comprehending what's going on. So the idea is the whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series took place while Coulson was stabbed, just sitting there waiting to die after Loki got him. It was all in his head, just him trying to stay alive and imagine what life going forward is and imagining how he would be healed and coming up with these far-fetched ideas. And
Well, that's my whole theory on The Walking Dead. Rick in his coma is dreaming the whole thing.
Exactly. I can see it happening.
No, they want to screw The Walking Dead. That's what they should do. They should just, like, at the end, have Rick standing and then pan out to Robert Kirkman and someone else in a writer's room just sitting there like, this would be a cool show idea. We should write this. Nah, let's do something else.
And then they say
no. You know what? No, this would work better as a comic book.
Yeah. Let's just do it as a comic book. Nobody would read this. This is too depressing. And then that's what it is. It was just the whole show was two dudes sitting in a room throwing ideas at each other. And then as they walk out, and then as they're walking out, like they pass like their editor, who's Rick, and then like all the like main characters from the show are actually people who work in the office that they're at.
Daryl.
And Daryl's the janitor.
And then we spin a show off on that.
Yeah, and then it becomes the new office. Yeah. At night they all plug into the Matrix and go into the Walking Dead world, and then they just to see if they survive.
Black Mirror now.
Yep. It's just the ultimate. It's the ultimate nerd show. Like everyone in the office isn't just something different. So every episode's them like coming like hallucinating and coming up with their own like.
Yeah. I think it was Crack who came up with the idea that the final episode of Game of Thrones should just reveal that the entire Game of Thrones has just been a bunch of people playing D&D.
That's what George is going to have to do with the book at this point.
It pans out, and it's actually the opening scene from Stranger Things where they're playing D&D.
Exactly. That would be awesome. Except it's on two different networks, So that can't happen, sadly.
This is the nerd world we live in.
Or it's the guys from The Big Bang Theory playing D&D or something.
Or
two different networks, HBO and CBS. They're not the same.
Or even crazier, it's some weird dimension where it's actually like George R.R. Martin and J.R.R. Tolkien are playing chess, and they're just talking. That's what it is.
You're the only one that watches Arrow, Phil. So fill us in.
I watch Arrow.
Oh, you're still hanging on? Okay.
I do just because I enjoy parts of it, but I don't know. I don't give up sometimes. I like it enough because I guess season 5 restored my faith in it, and this season's been not horrible, but it's not been as great as I think it could have been.
It seems like they're dragging this out too because Caden James still has control of the city.
Yeah, that's why I texted you and I said,
"Real big bad, right? Like he just can't be. He's so bland and boring."
Well, I like their whole little like almost a real kind of Legion of Doom they had going on there for a moment.
That was a malarkey, if you ask.
Well, they showed Caden James wants to destroy everything because he thinks Oliver killed his son. And there's even like fake footage of it, so it's like who created the fake footage?
That's gonna be
Prometheus.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, but he did it as a backup plan.
Lilith, would it be back if it was Felicity?
It'd be awesome if it was Felicity.
If she was the villain the whole time,
Since day one,
whole show. I've said that since season 3. I secretly feel like Felicity's playing the long game, especially the way that they played it when they had the writers from the show writing the comic book. She started off as a bad character after Oliver Queen. I'm just saying, maybe that's a hint.
She could be like Oliver. I've screwed you from day one in more ways than one.
Exactly. I just got a horrible flashback of Felicity in the Atom suit saving Oliver. Ugh, I need to go throw up. Ugh.
Wait,
season 3B was the beginning of the end. People didn't believe me. They thought I was being harsh. You can check the receipts. I was not happy then.
My other thing is more people should have died on the island last season. It feels like nobody died but Malcolm Merlyn and Prometheus. I
feel like if Willow wanted to leave, they've known this for a while. Go ahead and just keep her in the coma then.
So how did they all not die on the island, just out of curiosity?
Plot armor, organicness.
Sadness and writer power. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think Quentin has run his course as a character. He's just hanging around for fan service. I think Renee's kind of annoyed me, and
that whole new team era annoys me.
they're all kind of pissing me off a little bit. But you know who I miss? I miss Ragman. The person who should have been in season 4 fighting Damien Dark was actually a nice addition.
Had a different show, Arrow
I
is
know.
bad about certain things in contracts.
Oh, hey, has anyone heard about the new? I know you all have heard about the new Metropolis series.
Yep, we're getting
Lex and Lois, the early years.
Involved in some way. I don't care if he's Perry White at this point. I need this to happen.
What, Michael Rosenbaum?
Being in Metropolis somehow, some way, and Pastor's gone. It was a great show. I'll miss it, but he's got to come back into the DC fold and not just voice acting. He has to come home. Tom's come home. He's got to come home. That's how this works.
I didn't think of that, but I like the idea of Michael Rosenbaum as Perry White. I'm gonna roll with that. Like, I like that.
And relax, though. I mean,
yeah, I mean, Lex.
He doesn't want to be Lex anymore is the thing, though. So
yeah, he don't want to be bald. And then if you put him as Lex, then everybody's like, "Oh, is it connected to Smallville?" You just screw up people because people are stupid.
Yeah.
But remember, Bendis is taking over Superman and is going to be doing a Byrne with it. And Byrne was the guy who said Lex had long, luscious red hair at the start, and then eventually went bald due to male pattern baldness, not superhero intervention. So you could have Rosenbaum come in. Just he has to do red hair. And but
like I said, because then everybody gets confused if it's connected to Smallville or not.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to do that, but he's happy to be in the DC family. He just doesn't ever want anything to do specifically with that. So
I say Perry White.
I'm making Perry White. That's fine.
And okay, here's what I would like to have with Metropolis. I think it would be cool if they did it where if they're going to do Lex and Lois, do it where Lois gets these little hints about this mysterious person. And it's like her kind of searching for Superman in a sense of these stories, and make it a prequel series to Tyler Hoechlin's Superman.
No. Okay. Clark needs to stay in Smallville. Clark cannot leave Smallville. He cannot come into this because that's what ruined Gotham. Is letting Batman come to Gotham.
Gotham.
I didn't say he came to Metropolis. I'm just saying you hear about because the whole point was Superman was supposed to travel.
The blur.
Well, I mean, think about how they did the beginning of Man of Steel, where Lois was tracking down these stories of this savior, this person who did these acts that could be false. So you have, basically Clark's going around traveling the world like he did in the comics, and these things are happening and these stories are coming out, and you have Lois kind of tracking it down because. Basically, what could you do with Metropolis that would make it seem interesting in a comic book show? Because you can't do the kind of thing you do in Gotham. Because you can't have the newspaper team fighting Metallo, or
no. Here's what's interesting is you have Lois and Lex actually developing some kind of a weird camaraderie, maybe even a little bit of a sexual tension, because they're part smash. And you have this idea that you start out with Lex as handsome billionaire Lex Luthor, and plucky reporter Lois Lane always on his tail because she knows he's up to something, but he puts out that Bruce Wayne face of it's the Wayne Foundation. Wayne Foundation got called out in Batman in the 60s Batman because I do get Heroes and Icons. I was watching the King Tut episode talking about the Wayne Foundation providing the health care for King Tut so that he could get his mental stuff in order because the man needs help. I wonder, and it made me wonder, was that the first appearance of the Wayne Foundation doing charitable work? Which I would totally believe that no one had thought to actually have Bruce Wayne do anything good in the comics until the TV show made them. Which has precedence that the TV shows always make the comic books better.
Ty, there is a television precedent for what you're talking about Clark traveling the world. Remember at the beginning of the New Adventures of Lois and Clark, he has all those articles from where he was working and doing good as working as a reporter doing those weird stories out there, and then you'd see the like coincidental mysterious man save him. So I would actually like something like that on the peripheral. Don't make it the main focus, because I love Lois Lane as a character.
Right.
And that would be very interesting, her and Lex teaming up, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, even like you just said, like
Lois is the better dynamic.
Lois, and Lex had a thing in the first season of Lois and Clark.
Yep.
I mean, you could do it, but it's just like, where do you go? Like, how much?
Well, what you do is you don't get afraid of your here's what you do. You don't fear your own concept, and you let it play out. And you can, because, I mean, here's the thing. Even the best TV shows don't usually last more than 5 years. Like, shows that go like 2 or 3 decades, that's really, really rare. And so you can so if you can hold off on putting Superman in there, you can have this entire drama where you have Lois and Lex starting out friends, buddies, pals. Maybe even because Lex is a young billionaire. Maybe he went to college with her. Anything can happen. They could have a connection that you could write into the story, and then you have her slowly realizing he's becoming more and more evil. That his desire to be the Superman, because in essence that is our modern understanding of Lex Luthor, is he sees himself as the Ubermensch, the Superman.
Yes.
And then when the real Superman comes into it, when there is a real Superman, it's overwhelming to him, and that's why he turns to evil. And but at the same time, you can explore this idea that being the Ubermensch, defining yourself as the Ubermensch, is what forces you to do evil, because you think, I can make the world better if only I were the only person making the decision. If only I were in charge, the world would be a better place. And
but how many orphans could he feed with the money he spends on battle armor?
That's the thing about the Luthors. That's not what they've been about. Just straight up industrial corporateness, just greed, everything you could think of from the movie Wall Street. That's what that encapsulates when you think of LexCorp or whatever they're gonna name.
Yeah,
but I mean, you can merge the ideas, because I'm trying to think, which comic book is it? Is it all Superman for all seasons or part of Birthright, where like every morning Lex will come out of his tower and stand, and people gather outside his office, and he'll like basically grant a wish to somebody in the that's down there every morning, and then because he sees himself as the savior,
Mussolini,
and everything.
Yeah.
And basically, and I mean, but like you said, you got to start, like, if you don't bring Superman into it, you have to paint Lex as a more...
Well, you have to present him like they did in Smallville, where he is not a horrible human being. He wants to do something different than the world he's been given, but the world forces him into the role he was meant to play. The world casts him as the villain, sort of like the Kingpin in Daredevil. He doesn't want to be the villain, but that's what the world forces him to be. And then he eventually embraces, I am the evil man upon the road. And that is Lex's play.
I would like them to play more with the idea of, like, I would love to see more of the politician angles of Lex, and the fact that Lex is this ambiguous character where you can rationalize him as evil or good depending on your point of view, and even the public doesn't know what to make of him, and a lot of the public is behind Lex.
He's going to make Metropolis great again. And I think that is how, and that's how they've played Lex since Byrne, because Byrne was the guy who decided that Lex, rather than just being a Dr. Sylvana ripoff, should be a man in the public eye. He should be a billionaire industrialist like Bruce Wayne, and to be defining, and in his own way, defining himself against a world of other billionaire industrialists. And if the world demands that billionaire industrialists be do-gooders, then he shall be that. Much like Dr. Doom, he is good because he believes great men are supposed to be. So he will do this because he believes himself a great man. And and so he does these things not because he feels it's the right thing to do, but because, well, I guess I have to do that because that's what tells people I'm a great man. To be a great man, you must also do these great charitable things, do these things for the betterment of all. And if he thinks of himself as the Ubermensch, as a great man, then he must do these things. And what drives him mad is that others are doing it better than him.
Oh, yes.
That Bruce Wayne, for as much as he spent, with his orphan eating business, for as much as he spends on bat wings, they're still doing more charitable works than the Luthor Foundation. And then the Superman comes out of nowhere with just crazy powers and is just solving the world's problems better than Lex can. And it's like, it's not fair. It's not fair. Why is the world so unfair to rich white men like Lex Luthor when Superman can show up and just do their job better than them?
Did anybody ever see Justice League Gods and Monsters?
Yes.
The animated one? I like that Lex Luthor. If they had a hint of that kind of Lex Luthor, that would be great. Stephen Hawking Lex Luthor, that would be awesome.
Stephen Hawking Lex Luthor? Is he in a wheelchair or what?
Yeah.
Oh.
You have to watch. I actually like that take on it. I like the Wonder Woman take on it a lot. That movie.
Yeah, because they were completely different characters.
And they actually had Batman. They had Batman fall back, and they actually made this different Superman be kind of like the Superman that we've kind of wanted, the leader, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of Batman B. I don't know. It was I have it on Blu-ray somewhere.
I'll look for it somewhere.
I have it. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. They have the cartoons on that they were building up to. This was like a whole big thing, and they have like a 3-off comic book. Like that universe is very interesting, and I hope they do part 2 to that movie where they explore that Wonder Woman and Lex going off to fix what they started with the Darkseid and everything. So, and the New Gods.
And since we're all over Superman, Tyler, it's actually confirmed Krypton starts with March.
Yep.
After how many years?
What are we on? 4, 5? 5?
Oh,
yeah, 5. Because it was announced.
Started, they were talking about it. Yeah.
They announced it like at the same time they announced they were going to do Gotham, and it was because Krypton was originally supposed to be a prequel-esque series to Man of Steel, because they announced it back in 2013, and here it is 2018, and we're finally getting the show. But my thing is, I doubt that it's going to be a Man of Steel. I think it's its own universe kind of thing now, because the DC films have changed so much from this initial concept they had for Krypton.
So you don't think it's going to be in the Supergirl universe?
Oh, no, definitely not.
No.
It's on Sci-Fi, which is owned by NBC, so definitely not.
It's going to be its own thing. Because
NBC?
Well, yeah, Sci-Fi is owned by NBC Universal, so it's definitely not.
Okay. So that doesn't give you worries, Lilith?
It does give me worries. I development hell for 5 years.
Is she?
Yeah. Better be a masterpiece.
Yeah.
After 5 years.
I feel like there's just been a lot of change and stuff in the background of what they wanted to do with it. So we'll see where it goes. I'm interested. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt.
I need to see the pilot, definitely.
It's going to deal with time.
I need to see the pilot.
It's going to deal with time travel, so that's going to be interesting.
Adam Strange.
Maybe if it gets goofy, they'll go the Legends route and just embrace it and roll with it.
Time travel.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this
There's so much Superman stuff without Superman. It kind of annoys me, to be honest.
It kind of does. That's why I'm saying, like, we have Metropolis and we have Krypton.
Just make a Superman series.
So
he had a show in the 50s. It did pretty well. He is TV ready. as a character.
I think another Superboy show, to be honest.
And Lois and Clark, guys. I mean, Superman's been on TV.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
I hate Superboy in the comic books, but I think Superboy works on TV.
I love the Superboy series. That was great.
It was.
It was
just the right
really,
amount of cheese.
And I was like a real Make Mine Marvel guy back then. I still love the Superboy series. You know, that should tell you that was
nobody remembers. I remember that post you put up, Ty. It was hilarious. Like, but do you know who this guy is?
What's interesting is this year's the 30th anniversary of the Superboy first season.
Oh God, I'm old.
And you know, like it's 80 years of Superman, 40 years of Christopher Reeve's movie, and 30 years for the Superboy series. And that's the first season when we had the hour-long episodes with a different actor as Superboy. We had our John Hames Newton before our Gerard Christopher.
And we had Lex is actually a decent human being and hasn't been driven mad by chemical exposure.
Yep, that's season 2.
I've always loved that. I always loved that origin for Lex, that he's actually, because I love the idea of scientists that are like, no, I'm actually going to help the world. And then a tragic accident turns them evil. I love the idea of I'm sorry?
It always comes back
that's
to
Doc
Otto.
Ock, and that's well, it's Doc Ock, but it's also Lex Luthor. That was Lex. Well, not Lex Luthor's original origin. His original origin is he's a guy from another dimension with a blimp. Yeah, he's got a blimp, and he's from another dimension. Why not? You know, but I love when they put Lex into the Superboy universe. Then that idea of Lex and Clark growing up in Smallville, and Lex and Superboy being best friends, and Lex trying to find a cure for kryptonite poisoning, and then fire in the lab, you know, and it was beautiful. It was a great concept, and it just explains why he hates Superman so much, because he associates Superman with this moment that poisoned him. Basically, the poison that makes him evil. And for what it's worth, you can also even tie into a great idea with Superman's 3 artificial kryptonite, or later the red kryptonite turning Superman evil, in the idea that in trying to find that cure for kryptonite poisoning, he infected himself with the thing that makes you evil. It all ties together.
Just hide from us, DC. We'll make it better. We promise.
And hey, I'm free now, so yes, I'm actually gonna start. I'm gonna actually write and send my submission to Dark Horse. I've been saying I would do that for years, and now I have to.
The Superman comics are spoken for, as we've heard.
For now, do. I'm just saying.
I know, but
how's he gonna put Kitty Pryde in those books? That's my only question.
He'll make
Jessica Jones.
He'll make an OC. Don't worry.
We're gonna have to see if Lois develops a drinking problem, I guess.
Anybody read any good comic books this week?
So Lois, let's get away from the Bendis.
Yes. No bueno.
What? I'm just saying. I think they're planning on him being there long term, because I mean they're rebooting Superman the #1 again, because
and they'll see what a mistake that is.
Action staying in its original numbering, and Superman once again is getting renumbered, even though none of the other DC books are. It's a mess.
If they plan on putting Superman back in the forefront over Batman, then I guess I'm gonna have to ride with that, because I am sick to death of Batman.
That's the other news. July 4th, Batman #50. What's going down? Batman and Catwoman getting married.
You're invited for $20. Get your invitation.
Full holographic wedding invitation, and bagged and boarded included, and
So they're actually going with the whole wedding. They're actually going to get married.
Batman #50 in July. Yeah.
Now,
see what happens.
once she dies from man pain, like I almost guarantee you that's gonna go down.
What?
They're gonna kill Catwoman.
They're not gonna kill
They're
Catwoman.
gonna get married. They're gonna kill Catwoman.
We're gonna get baby countries.
No, we're not. They're gonna get married, and then in like about 5 years, Batman's gonna make a deal with Metron to save Alfred, and it's gonna undo the entire marriage.
They're gonna kill her. Catwoman merchandise don't do so good. What do you do when you want to make your merchandise smooth? Same thing as like when an actor or a musician dies, their catalog increases. That's all I'm saying. Mark my words.
Catwoman's gonna get a bomb, and as soon as they say, "I'm to enter Mrs. Wayne," Amanda Waller is gonna throw her head off like the Suicide Squad because she don't want Batman to have Catwoman. Because she needs
there's so many things that are.
I don't know. 2 seconds after they get married, you're going to see the announcement: Catwoman's getting her own series again. Watch.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to
catalog. That's what's going to happen.
Instead of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane, it's going to be Batman's wife, Catwoman. That's the title.
It's just those women can't be in their without.
How come Batman can't be Catwoman's husband?
Exactly.
You know, I'd like to see Catwoman's husband, Bruce Wayne, in a movie. You know, or a TV show.
Last name Kyle. That would be awesome.
Bruce Kyle. There we go. I just don't understand. Well, you know, I hope she just remains a villain, and it's a story about, you know, she's a supervillain, he's a superhero. They're married. How do they make this work? And I think that's interesting. Well, you know, not for nothing. Maybe that's the whole idea. Is that, you know, she's like, I never said I was going to give up crime. I never said I was going to.
Animated series already, though. I feel like we've done that before.
Well, yeah, but you know, now they'll be married, and it'll be.
It's
I'm
not
still
really,
stealing stuff.
It's not really Catwoman. It's a clone from another dimension or something. It's a life model decoy.
That's definitely from another dimension. Then
it's some other alternate version of Selena.
The universe comes back with a vengeance. I love it.
There's all kinds of like. It was never really Selena. It was always somebody else that was just posing.
No, what we're gonna do is gonna find out that actually Bruce Wayne died when his back was broken by Bane. Everything since that moment has all just been Batman's fever.
That's like 2 continuities ago, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, everything. All those reboots it all goes back to that moment, and he's dead, and then Robin becomes Batman. And then everything, the entire DC universe goes back to that moment.
Totally don't know. We've already been down that road for quite a while, but the only DC book that I read this week was Silencer #1.
Wasn't any good.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. I don't even know why I picked it up. I'm not a fan of John Romita's artwork anymore. Like in his older years, he's just not.
I feel okay. Are you talking about John Romita or John Romita Jr.?
John Romita.
I was actually okay.
Okay.
John Romita
All
Senior
right.
then.
Yes.
Got an SR in his name.
It's not Junior writing it? It's not Junior drawing it? No?
I came for Dan, and the story's solid, but the artwork just drew me out. So, but it's a good solid story, but it had Talia al Ghul in it, so I was just kind of like, no good can come from this. I'm not interested in issue #2, so.
So you didn't read Flash War Prelude?
I have them. I have the annuals. I got all the annuals, but I haven't read them.
Okay. Oh, that was my other question. You didn't read Detective either? The new updated origin of Clayface?
Spoil me.
What?
Why are we
Wait,
so
there's a new origin of
Clayface in the Batman universe now? I don't get it.
I don't know. Well, the new origin Clayface. Well, he's still an actor, but he was a nice guy. But then he got in a car accident and became obsessed with his looks.
Which Clayface is it? Which character?
I believe isn't it Matt Haig or? Oh wait, no, it's Basil. Isn't it Basil Carlo? But
didn't you read the book, Phil?
I did. No, yeah.
There's been like five different people
it was a good story.
It is Basil Carlo, but no, he gets all messed up in a car accident. He starts using this chemical that's been banned from like baggage chemicals, and starts melting his face even worse.
So basically, he was a nice guy into a horrible accident, turned him evil. The best supervillain origin.
Yeah, cliche. Yes.
Yeah. Who cares about playthings?
Hey,
Give me the ventriloquist if we're gonna do throwbacks, for goodness sake.
oh, the ventriloquist.
Then there's the Flash annual #1. It looks like when Reverse Flash took Flash and Iris into the future, Iris ended up killing Reverse Flash. It looks like they're gonna try to arrest her or whatever. Even though, but there's a mastermind working in the future, and his name is Hunter Zolomon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that his first return since Rebirth?
I think so. But most of it is like Wally's feeling all depressed because Linda doesn't remember him now, so he goes to see Magenta. She didn't remember anything, but him going, "Don't you remember this? Don't you remember this?" And she activates her split personality again. Passes.
The Flash is the best all around. He's and comic book. That's the thing.
They want to be the TV show, but they want to bring back, all the old comic stuff.
So there were only 2 Marvel books I read. Can you guess which ones they were?
Phoenix Resurrection.
Okay.
And
Hey.
You didn't read Despicable Deadpool, did you?
Nope. Jean Grey #11.
Oh yeah. Okay. Anything with Jean Grey, she read.
I gotta support it, man. I told you, if you want to support something, put your money where you support it with your wallet. So that's what I'm doing.
So are you going to be reading X-Men Red then?
Yes.
X-Men.
They give it 6 issues opposed to my usual 3. It better.
Wow. Where she has to control Namor. Namor's on the team.
Namor, and like I said, when they introduced that relationship, I was like, okay, I can get behind. Well, not relationship, but this situation they have going on. I enjoy their banter. It reminds me of Mulder and Scully a little bit. Old school X-Files, not this newfangled Mangala effect crap.
We know you're old.
Yeah, I'm old.
But so you didn't read this?
Why was it called? Because I didn't see this. Why was it called the Mangala? What did they? Yeah, but why were they calling it the Mangala effect? What did people not remember about Mangala?
They were trying to play it like the guy was from an alternate reality, so instead of the Mandela effect, it was the Mangala effect.
Yeah, but I was wondering, because I haven't read, what was it about Mangala? Because the whole thing about the Mandela effect is people think that Nelson Mandela died in prison, which is weird to me, because who thinks Nelson Mandela died in prison?
I'm trying to remember.
A lot of people that aren't into world news.
Well, yeah, I guess that, but and it's so what did they think happened to Mangala? I mean,
they probably never got into it because X-Files isn't as clever as it used to be.
Ooh,
nerds! Go ahead, I'll wait. Tell me you love the new X-Files more than you love the
X-Files hasn't been. I didn't understand after the movie how they went back to the TV show. And I will never, and that's after that, I just didn't understand what was going on with the X-Files, and I stopped watching after that. It's okay, we went to the movies, found the aliens, we wrapped up the series, that's the end. Now let's do another series of it. It's no, you already found the aliens. Yeah, we already did that in the movie. We did the movie, we're done. We're not, you can do another movie maybe, but don't go back to the series because that doesn't make any sense.
It's like Power Rangers. The movie didn't make sense the next season. You just gotta roll with it. They just wanted the money.
But Power Rangers has natural reboot points because you just get new teenagers, new.
And that
teens
is
with
the
attitude.
point in time when they did that Power Rangers movie, they hadn't had those plans because the actors weren't asking for more money. Like that's a whole nother thing.
Well, yeah, but my point is that so like for example, if you want to
the
reboot the
Power
X
Rangers
Files,
exists out of
how
continuity.
about you just put new people in charge of the X Files? Because as was actually established,
those seasons were so lowly rated.
What, the Lone Gunman?
Well, not the Lone Gunman. I'm talking about when they had Doggett and that other lady, and then they just had Dana with a new partner, or they had Mulder with a new part. It just it's a magic between those two, and you can't replicate it. You can't have like lightning in a bottle.
Stop trying to. That's all I'm saying.
I don't anything past season like 5. I'm good. I don't care.
Yeah.
That was the most disappointing series finale I've ever seen up until Pretty Little Liars. I'm so bitter. I will always be bitter about those two things. More bitter than Arrow.
Smash.
Yes. Anyway.
Okay. Anything else going on?
I don't think so.
I recommend, of course, Lil, shut up. Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, and Moon Knight.
Oh, Moon Knight.
When do we get a Moon Knight TV show?
I want a Netflix Moon Knight in the worst way.
All right, let's get started.
Well, they're waiting to see how he plays on Secret Wars, and
he was only in that one
episode.
episode.
Anymore.
Oh no, you're gonna miss. You need to get it before Spider-Man season 2 because Superior Spider-Man's coming.
I know.
Well, don't they put all those on the website and stuff?
I gotta find that out. I have to see how friendly the universe is to people who cut the cord. That's what, because my children aren't having this whole no longer having television brought into the house thing. They're like,
Charlie's like, aren't you millennials?
I know.
Yeah, they're like, no. This is the problem with streaming. People don't want things. They don't want to pick what show they want. They want to sit down and have a show presented to them. They want to have a channel to turn on. And my kids are like that. They don't want to have to find a cartoon on Netflix or Hulu. They want to just know that there's a channel that they can put on and it's going to have stuff that they're going to like.
Kids today, man, so spoiled.
Kids today, yeah. It's like
pick a time to binge a damn cartoon. I don't know what this world is coming to.
Yeah, it's like, they're,
Lil, say, get off my lawn, and you'll have the complete set.
Yes, it's and that SpongeBob apparently doesn't have a streaming service.
You can watch it on Nickelodeon.com, I'm sure.
Good. Kids don't mean.
Well, yeah, but I think you have to log in with a cable provider for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I don't recommend A Pirate's Life for everybody. And I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Nomad Lil, so far.
Arg, matey, arg.
But like for me, on a lot of levels, I'm enjoying the cable cutting because, like I said, my Wi-Fi is way better running through my cell phone than it ever was with the freaking landline. That with that Optimum, and you guys tell me I sound better now, don't I?
You sound good.
I'm not all garbling and I'm not freezing. I've had like 0 freezes on my cell phone than I had when I was using the Wi-Fi from. So if AT&T could just give me television, things would be perfect.
You guys don't have DirecTV?
We can't have, because we live in an apartment. We can't have. We were going to do that, but we can't have a satellite.
I was going to say I have DirecTV.
They used to allow.
But yeah,
I guess
the apartment. Yeah, the apartment thing.
allow.
You put the thing up there.
Yeah. So that's my problem. Yep.
Well, if we don't have anything else to talk about, I guess we can all get on with our Saturday.
Yeah, I gotta pay rent.
Yeah.
And my friend needs to mail something for her, so I got lots to do there.
Okay. All right. Then let's get out of here. Newly returned Tyler Patrick. Where can people find you?
You can find me online at JTY Patrick on Twitter, Facebook. You can find me over at the Krypton Report podcast.
And you can find me professionally at circlefulhero.com.
Charlie Esser.
You can always direct me the old-fashioned email way, the way our moms and pops once did, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter. Is there a live tweet? Something at some point whenever I actually could look at something if I can. I don't know. Shirley Esser.
Lilith Hellfire. People want to buy property from you or tell you why you should get married. Where can they get a hold of you?
If you want to fight me, nerd, you can find me at Lilith Hellfire, live tweeting about lightning, or for anything else, at AdventuresNFT, Facebook, Instagram, at AdventuresNFT.
All right. Well, sit back and relax. Got a bunch of plugs. Where to start? Oh, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Capes and Lunatics YouTube. You can watch me and Charlie Esser live talk to Mark Waid and discuss probably mostly his current Marvel stuff. You can watch Charlie ask Waid, who is Voyager?
We all know who Voyager is.
I know Gwenpool. You said that.
Gwenpool. It's like so not even subtle.
And you know what? Go to SouthgateMediaGroup.com. Check out our Capes and Lunatics blog. I put 2 up this week. I was feeling ambitious. The Dark Secret of Moon Knight and why the world doesn't need Bendis on Superman. No, it was more positive than that. And March 31st, if you're in the area, you can come see me at the Rivertown comic book and toy show. I'll be bugging anyone I can with a microphone. Check out myrivertown.com. Power for me. It's at Charlie. It's a comic show at a brewery. March 31st. March 31st. He's like, you just combined my 2 loves.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I've always felt that there should be more nerd bars. Comic book stores that are bars.
Let's do it.
Nerd bars, you know.
We're gonna get it.
Oh goodness! Do you know how much money you're gonna make off of nerds who are drunk? Like, yeah, I want to buy this.
And it's nerds, 1 beer, man.
Can we call it CC Jitters, or do we have to fight them for the rest of that?
Yeah,
maybe. Oh, that's the name of our place. Fight Me Nerds.
Oh, there we go. If only we all lived in the same area and could open a bar.
Other people might think that's it. You're encouraging them to fight. I don't know. But if you want to send us money for our new business venture or information on any of this, or let us know what you think, Capes and Lunatics at gmail.com, facebook.com/Capes and Lunatics, Twitter at Capes Lunatics, and our voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-Capes. All right.
Deep breath.
Any final thoughts?
Nerds.
Fight us, nerds, yes.
Hit the music, new Rob.
There's no replacing it on Southgate. All right, for another week, we have been the Capes.
And the Sam. Someone's got to do it.
Capes and Lunatics. Sounds like someone's being murdered at Tyler's house.
Yeah, that's Solomon trying to wrestle with his sister.
Is he getting beat up?
Yachty, I could hold her over my head and spin around.
All this kid wants to do is wrestle.
Yeah. That doesn't stop.
It's his favorite hobby.
Get used to it.
Oh, I know. I'm just like, he's like, wrestle daddy.
That's true.
I'm like, hold on.
See how my son's ninja training is going. It'll be bigger than the Batman wedding, the Hellfire wedding.
Never. Oh.